Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
I was giving RuPaul then, Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah.
I'm Mother Ru.
So how do we make that our own?
Oh no, it's not our own.
Salam.
Salam.
Salam,
everybody.
RuPaul June.
Salam, everybody. Salam.
Hello, salam, namaste.
Hello, salam, namaste.
I like
Namaste,
that.
next.
Yeah.
Namaste, next. Namaste, next.
That's a
Do you remember
deep
when you
cut.
used to do your bushra voice?
Yeah. I do, yeah. I can proper do my bushra voice. What's your problem?
Where's that gone?
Oh my God. What do you mean where it's gone? It's always been with me, yeah, but I've been proper abroad everywhere. been buying brand new stuff from brand new shops. Not second hand like you lot, ugly. Do you know what's really funny is that character is actually not based on the girls, is based on my former best friend.
Police shoes.
Oh yeah. So this is a story. So like his sister spoke like this as well. And when I started incorporating it into my character, people were like, "You sound like a bushra." And so like what I realized in retrospect was this guy who was my best friend, who was hell-bent on not coming across as a bushra, was the most bushra ever. So bushras are those larger-than-life boisterous girls from our hometown, and people saying bushra in a negative way, like, "Oh, you're such a bushra, don't be like that." But I'm always like, yeah, be more like that, right?
Uh-huh.
But he, the minute I used to step into his car, he used to go, "Ugh, you stink of curry. You stink of curry." Or like, "Ugh, you're so fresh." Fresh means like as if like you're fresh off the boat from Pakistan. And so when I met his sister, she was doing some wedding planning or something. And she was like, so like they proper loved the wedding. It was so good, yeah. And like they got a brand new bike for her. She was about her daughter.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was. And then like, and she was like, and they got me police shoes. And I was clearly not impressed with the story. I was like, great, they got your daughter something and you got some shoes out of it. Great, lovely. But like, I didn't go, oh my God, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what you meant to do.
That was what I was meant to do. And so then they started panicking at my lack of like enthusiasm at the story. So she was like, proper brand new shoes. Not like, and then she clocked herself because like, obviously nobody's going to give her secondhand used shoes as a wedding present. So she's like, not like anything about like proper new, proper brand new. And I was like, okay, yeah, we got it. It's just not that impressive of a story. And so I used to incorporate that when I used to do the character voice as part of my drag. And people were like, "Oh my God, you get the references so well." And I was like, "No, I'm just doing my former friend."
Oh, exposed.
Yeah, who decided to ditch me. And anyway, we won't get into that story. And
anyway, do you know what we used to call them?
So do you know what tragedy plus time equals comedy?
Period. We used to call them, and I'm not going to say what these words are. It's just 2 letters, and those who know.
What, J.K. Rowling?
No. What has that got to do with anything? What?
Do you want to find out about
No, let me finish. Okay. Oh, are you trying to stop me? You're trying to stop people of colour having a voice. I deserve a voice. Okay?
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, go on. What are you going to say? Go on, mister.
We are people of colour.
Yeah, we are.
Now that you have a tan.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say anything else.
Bye. We used to say like, oh yeah, the proper TP.
Oh yeah, typical. Oh. That's the first. And the other P stands for...
What is it? The P? Typical
Pakistani.
Pakistani. Yeah. Not the slur.
Yeah.
That we can reclaim.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. My TP fresh off the boat. Bradford.
Girl,
see, when I talk like this, I could talk about Bradford and retire because like it is such a magical, nuanced place that nobody's going to get. Do you know what I mean?
It is wild.
Like, because I tell the stories and people are like, ha, you're so funny. And then I'm like, no, it's real.
Oh my God.
It's like that.
Go on, tell a story then.
It's like,
let's do some Bradford stories.
When I was in Bradford, I couldn't stop because I could hear it in people's voices and stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm back here. But like when people used to like, South Asian guys used to give each other like Western nicknames. So I couldn't, all what I could say was Gubza. I was just walking around on my own like a madman, finding pizza after my show going, oh yeah, Gubza. He's like, oh my God, yeah, Timmy, yeah. And I'm like, your name's not Timmy.
Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny.
Johnny.
But it's like, oh, Javs. It's like,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
your name's Mohammed Javed Hussein.
Mhm.
It's not Javs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
We used to
yeah.
do that all the time.
See, that's so wild because like that was when I said, "Can you tell us a Bradford story?" I was like, I was going to get mine ready as well.
Yeah.
My Bradford story is so dark.
Oh dear. Keeping it light.
It's so different. Can I tell you it?
Yeah, go on, trauma dump on us all.
It was very like, oh my god, there's, a fight happening on Vic Road. Let's go and see what it's about. And it's like someone smashing someone's head in with a tool and then running outside the house, and then everyone's out and then everyone's screaming to everyone, call the police, call the police. Someone's smashing someone's skull in, and then they go knock on another house and all these men come out and they all start brawling on the street, and then it takes ages for the police to come, and then the police are involved in the brawl and no one wants to know what to do. And I'm like 9 years old going, oh my god, fight, which is really bad because it's not that kind of thing. And then like the mosque has to get involved, and then the primary school has to get involved, and the community has to get involved. And then hours later, think of the children, put them all to one side. They can't experience this. I'm like, girl, the trauma's already happened. It's locked into my veins. It's locked into my blood. And in 20 years' time, I'm going to have to get therapy. That's one of many Bradford stories. And that's something about my family. Although that was a relative of mine that was involved in the fight.
Because I'm here for you. I'm here to listen and learn and support you in whatever way you need.
So we're going to tell Bradford stories today.
But you know what
I want more Bradford stories.
But you know what used to make me laugh about that? Well, now it makes me laugh. Is like the police would arrive late and they would ask what's happened, and everyone would go, no, nothing's happened, everything's fine. And then on cue, the mother of the two brawling cousins would come out and go, Dad, he's not dead yet, but like he might as well be. We didn't want to see this day. Oh, shame to the family. What about my mum in Pakistan? And so then the police is like, okay, so if I report this, I'm racist and they're all going to murder me. So they're going to go, right, guys, this is a family matter. We're not going to report it, right, because it's Ramadan. We're not going to say anything, all right, because your mum's crying, all right? It's not good, lads. Sort it out.
Mary, Bradford's wild.
Yeah.
That made me think of, I don't know if I should share this. I'm going to share it anyway. It just made me think doing this, like, someone in Pakistan, what they're going to think. So, like, obviously, like, my biological father left me when I was young. And then
Why are you laughing? This is a very serious matter.
And then I went.
You were abandoned.
Oh yeah, I was abandoned. And now, in case you didn't know, and then I went on a wild goose chase, to find him, and I eventually found him, and he was living down the road from my grandma.
And I helped.
You did.
But enough about me.
And all that happened. And then I remember him saying to me, so my biological father, when I met him when I was 23, was it 24? And he was like, your granddad, as in his dad, he was, because I was the only grandchild from all the siblings, because they're all crazy, right? But that's a story for another time. So he was like, your granddad died on his deathbed. Oh, because he died on his deathbed. He died screaming your name, and his heart was in pain for you. Was I supposed to feel something? I was like, Mary, where have you been for 20 plus years of my life? Run me my check. I ain't out here throwing neck for ketchup, Miss Thing. Where is my moolah? Yeah.
Where is your moolah? Oh, sorry, we lost connection, didn't we? Because I had an alarm on.
Yeah, no, it's your fault.
Reminding me to create content and post on social media.
So yeah, I was like, where is my moolah? Miss Dad. Miss biological father who hasn't been there for 20 plus years. Like I said, I don't need your love. I don't need your affection. I am a gay boy. I am the F slur. Call me it. I don't care. I don't need your drama. I don't need to know why you hate my mum. I don't need to know why you hate the family. I don't need to know anything. Run me my ketchup. Run me my check.
Do you want me to throw a neck for inheritance?
Right? I can't do that. That's weird. But what do you want from me?
But then
That's another one of my Bradford stories.
So okay.
Your turn now, another Bradford story.
A Bradford story. For me, what used to fascinate me was, because obviously it's a working class environment, and also there's the economics of being a South Asian from Bradford is very different to the rest of the world. Obviously things may have changed now, but there was a big...
Can I stop you?
What?
Right. I'm you're what's your Bradford story? And I'm everyone was smashing each other with sledgehammers, everyone was killing each other, and drugs was everywhere, and it was proper gangster town, and my dad abandoned me, and bushras everywhere, and love and light, and graveyards, and all this stuff. And you're like, my Bradford story, the economic system of the value of Bradford. And this is the bar chart, and these are the pie charts, and this is the graph, and this is what's happening.
So what's your point?
I'm just saying.
Oh,
I'm not making a point.
Okay.
I'm just
an observation.
I'm just making an observation.
You kept to yourself,
I'm just making an observation because you know what? I love you.
Wow, that's toxic love. Convoluting it with insults and belittling me. What is the number one reason for divorce? Contempt. You're being very contemptuous.
Do you know what? I will. You continue. Go on and tell me about your Bradford story.
So the economic.
Exactly.
So the thing is, like, yeah, the economics are different because, like, usually you earn a living, you buy a house, you live, you raise children, the children move, they rinse you for what you're worth, you die in a nursing home. Do you know what I mean? It's the British dream. So, but then what happens in Bradford is they live in relative poverty to send the money to Pakistan and build fancy houses that they enjoy once every 3 years for 4 weeks or 2. Do you know what I mean? So then there's this competition of like who has the best house in Pakistan.
I watched the videos.
Yeah. So I remember somebody was doing a TikTok live and they were like, yeah, this is our place. Like, yeah, but you know, it's not even about this, and like trying to be really modest. And then they had some cousin who was living there and they had to assert their dominance over them. Like, where is that? Yeah, there isn't anything happening here or whatever. I was like, this poor cousin of yours, but this cousin's smart because it's like, I get to live in free housing and pretend to care for the place. And I just have to deal with you once every few years. Work. I'm willing to do that because that's what happens. You have to you build these houses and you've got to have somebody to take care of it, and it's always a cousin. That my dad did it, and he had to pay his cousin to look after it. Do you know what I mean? And they'd use it every now and then, I believe, for whatever they needed. Or like when we went, we were like, no, this place hasn't been checked on at all. But anyway, so then they have to make sure everybody knows that the place that they live in is worth a lot more than it is. So it's like, oh, and then I remember somebody was like shading it like, oh my God, it looks like it's, 12 square meters. It's probably only worth like £2,000 a meter or whatever. And he was like, oh no, man, that's the other neighborhood. What are you even talking about? You tapped, bro.
I love this accent. Oh yeah, you tapped.
And you tapped,
that?
Bro.
And you tapped, bro.
And I was like, but you've made a house in a village. Like, do you know what I mean? Like and it's not a fancy village like they have in the UK. Like, it's not going to be worth masses, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. But like this constant need. So that's part of the Bradford culture. It's like, oh yeah, I went back home, man. Yeah, I've got marble. But my family did it as well.
Yeah.
We had marbled floors in one of our houses in Pakistan. That sounds like as if we are insanely rich, which we are not. Or even if we are, I don't know. I ain't going to get any heritage from my homophobic father.
Yeah, you're not going to get inheritance.
I'm not going to get any inheritance from my homophobic father.
No, but also like it's so interesting. It's so interesting to get marble over there. But I'm like, Mary, what about over here?
Terrace house.
What about us struggling children?
18 cousins in living. There was this one family 2 doors down. We counted once, and they had 17 members. Their teenage son slept in a cot. I'm not even kidding.
Is that the shoebox family?
No, that's a different one. That's a different one. They were pretty busy as well.
Oh no,
they were pretty busy.
Yeah, 1 million cousins in a house.
Yeah, sardines.
But the money in Pakistan.
Oh,
we're winning.
Yeah,
it's like we just have barely any food on the table. Barely any clothes. All the cousins are hanging on. Let's move everyone else in. The cat, dog. Let's move 5 nephews in. Let's move everyone else in. But you know what? We have nobody lives in the house in Pakistan. We have one housekeeper. We have marble, and it's a palace.
Yeah.
So we are winning.
Okay. So now that we've taken the piss out of the Bradford experience, let's humanize it, right? What are your thoughts on that model of living where you send money back home? And by the way, it's not just Bradford.
Yeah,
I think, was it last year, Indians in the UK sent a record amount back home. It was like billions, if not, I think, tens of billions of pounds. It was a substantial amount. What are your thoughts on living that life in the UK where you live a very modest life in the UK and you send money either to cousins, friends, family in your native home country, and you build a secondary life in your native country with hopes of it one day being your primary? What are your thoughts on that way of existing?
We're going to talk about it after the break.
Okay, we're going to take a little break and we're going to come back to this very important question.
Yeah.
We are back. Yes.
We're back again. So you were asking basically, what do I think of all these joint family house situations and sending money back home?
Yeah.
So like, perhaps before I would have been like, peace and love, everyone can do what they want as long as they're happy. That's fine. But you're asking my opinion on it. Girl, y'all are getting rinsed.
Okay.
Y'all are potentially getting rinsed and used from the people back home. You're sending money to them and they're living that nice lifestyle. I'm assuming a nice lifestyle. I'm not quite sure. I've never been, just from what I've seen and what I've heard. And I'm like, why? Why are you doing it? Why are you sending all that money there when you need that here right now? However, to contradict myself, because of course I will, girl, you never know what's going to happen as well. That's the scary thing about being brown. Even if you're British, even if your kids have been born here, we've talked about this before, there's so many clauses, laws, rules, you could just be like, boom, done, chopped. So it's like, well, are you sacrificing to protect a future generation down the lineage that might want to go back to Pakistan because they're not wanted anymore in Britain? So can you see why it can be both sides?
I completely get it. And that's what was, because I thought you were going to go with the first point. I didn't, but you mentioned what I was going to talk about. Because yes, there is this thing of like, when you're sending money back home to the detriment of yourself, you're robbing yourself of the present moment. Do you know what I mean? You are not enjoying your life the way that you should do. And frankly, I think you are sort of not assimilating yourself in the society that you're living in, because you are almost living a parallel life where you are not partaking in too much of what's happening in the country, England, for example, and you are just earning your keep, saving and sending it. And there is a level of guilt as well, because you are the one who's managed to get away and you've left your family in relative poverty. Though some of it may be true, there's this other thing of like, is it poverty back home, or do they just live a simple life that they're happy with? And that's something to seriously consider. Yes, they might not be able to afford iPhones, but they are able to afford food. They can grow their own stuff and they live a relatively simple, straightforward life and it's not massively materialistic. Is there harm in that? Are they poor for that? Do you know what I mean? There's a debate to be had on that, in my opinion. So there's that, and you're robbing yourself. But the second point, like you said, is how much can you invest in where you currently are, because you don't know what might happen tomorrow. And my parents used to say this to me. They were like, Amir, you need to save, and you need to, don't think you're too much, like, you respect the law of the land, but don't think you're standing shoulder to shoulder with people, because you are, and I'm heavily paraphrasing, but you are seen as a secondary citizen. And I was like, oh girl, you're first migrant. It's a different story for me. I get where you're coming from, but that's not me. And I'm sorry, but like, I can't be bothered with Pakistan. Do you know what I mean? Now I do see it in a different light.
She's older and wiser.
Well, it's not even that. It's experience. For me, a big shock to the system was what happened in 2024, the domestic terrorism, the race riots. That really reinforced my perception of where I stand in society. I am the help. I am the one who needs help and support. I'm the one who is hated by Pakistanis because I'm gay. I am the one who is secondary to the primary. Do you know what I mean? And that's that was my takeaway message from it. And then I thought to myself, oh, of course you'd want to jump ship, because, and inevitably it's a sad, it's an unfortunate existence, because then you're neither here nor there. In the US, however, I have seen it slightly differently. There's a lot more tolerance and acceptance of different cultures. There is. And I'm not saying it's not the case in the UK. I'm just talking about personal
experiences. It might not be everywhere in the US.
And
we're talking about being here.
Yeah, and exactly. And it's not necessarily, that's not everyone's experience in the UK either. I know people who are of South Asian heritage who have assimilated very well. And, they drink, they're open to having pork and so on and so forth. And they have a firm footing in India. Do you know what I mean? And they have they pay their taxes, contributed to the economy in the UK, saved, and have decided to make a go of things in India, for example.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly legal. Here, there is, you can just assimilate so much better. I tend to find there is just so much more bandwidth. Obviously, it's a bigger country, and like you say, it's not perfect. But it is interesting to me, like the way I see Indian Americans here and the way I see South Asian Americans. They're very different.
Oh yeah,
very different to how it is in the UK. Broadly speaking, I've found, and even me being booked onto a South Asian comedy show, a comedy collective, and the room being filled with South Asians. And even in the UK, things are slowly changing. When I was performing there, I had South Asians turn up, straight South Asian couples and stuff. And they're like, yeah, we need to see this more and represent, which is great. I think it's a step in the right direction. I think the US is slightly ahead of the curve in that regard.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, very interesting.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Very bar charts, graphs, like I was saying.
Very, yeah.
Whereas I'm like sledgehammers.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, let's just hammer sledge it.
But like, Bradford's wild. We talked about this last episode, like, don't forget where you come from. Trust me, we don't. Do you know what I mean? But you know what? Can I say something to have some compassion for myself? At the same time, if I wanted to move away and forget where I come from, I have every right to do so as well.
You don't owe anyone anything.
No, from some of my experiences of the place, and it's not down to the place, it's down to the people and my family and experiences. I'm entitled to forget my trauma. If I wanted to forget it and just close it and be like, I don't care and I don't want to hear where I come from, work. I also have that entitlement.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I also can embrace where I'm from and run with it and be like, listen, we might be from here, but we could do anything, because it was obviously earlier on I was laughing and, haha, this happened with my dad, or this happened with, what you would see on the streets every day, all that danger. But it's not funny. It is genuinely, it does, when you become an adult, you realize what kind of lasting effect it has on you. And it is something, even as a kid, I knew, and as I was growing up, there were moments where I was like, I need to get away from this, because you can get sucked into it and trapped into it really, really hard. It's really easy. And I don't even blame people. It's really easy in places like Keighley, to get caught up in drug gangs and violence, because everyone wants a community. Yeah. Everyone wants to feel part of something. And, with limited opportunities and with limited money pumping into places and with people, people not caring and things such as that, it's so easy to get caught up in it. To gain that mindset of getting out is so hard. And that's why I always say being gay saved me. Yeah. Being gay absolutely saved me from getting involved in gang violence, in drug violence, in all that kind of stuff, because I got to see the world differently, and I got to see the light, and I got to see the fun, and I got to be like, get out.
But there's so many people who get involved in narcotics.
Yeah.
Who are on the down low.
Well, it's interesting you say that. So maybe I should add being gay and wanting to live my life as a gay man.
As an authentic person.
Authentic gay man is, I was with all the DLs back in the day. Yeah. They're involved in that, and a lot of these gangsters are DLs. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then they're going to live their life and marry the girl and do all that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm hoping things are changing now, because we're in 2025. That cannot be happening still. Yeah. But everywhere in the world's different, and everywhere is different, and, this year is Bradford 2025, and they're doing it big.
The other thing that I do want to say is that because I know that there was a campaign launched around gangs and issues, and there was this heavy sort of narrative on South Asians being gang criminals and all sorts of stuff. Statistically, though, they are overrepresented. From what I've researched and what I've found out is that there's this overrepresentation. Like, even, I don't know if they still do it or not, but Bradford used to be plastered. The newspapers in Bradford used to be plastered with South Asians who were criminals. But nationally, South Asians do not form the majority of said crimes. I'm not going to get into it too much, but there is this overrepresentation, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
And so, yes, there is a reality out there for sure, and no community is perfect, and and there's some great cultural aspects, and you're not going to forget where you came from and all that jazz. And if you want to, you can do. But not all is how it seems, and I think you have to be and that's the beauty of the human experience. When you sort of look at it objectively, it's like, yeah, there's great elements everywhere, there's bad elements everywhere. You have to just hone in on you and zone in on what you want to do with your life that is best in serving others.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I think it's a really great end to the podcast.
I think so. It's a fabulous end to the podcast. Do you know my English is so bad today?
I know.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I think it's the coffee that I had.
I just think it's over for you.
And also, I think I sound really like... I feel like I could have been more buoyant.
Yeah. Do you think that's different to usual?
No, I think it's down to my father. I'm kidding.
Girl, don't come for my gig. I'm joking. Everyone,
girl, what gig?
Girl, don't even start. Because I'll get booked again.
No, but
to answer a few questions.
You said don't come for my father, don't come for my gigs. I'm like, what gig? As in,
what father?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's not funny, is it?
No,
that's uncomfortable.
That's quite dark.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I love you. That was
really. Everyone got to hear and see what a nasty, venomous bitch my beautiful, gorgeous, lovely. See how I'm being really nice about my husband is.
All right, Miss Havisham,
horrible,
beloved sweetheart,
and he is mean, and he is a bully, and I love him so much.
Yeah,
he's love and light and compassion.
You can come for me, girl. Where's my dad?
I would never do such a thing. I would never come. I would never come for you like that. I would never, ever on camera come for you like that.
There we go.
Period.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
So that was Bradford, everyone.
Aftermath of whatever.
That was Bradford, and on that note, we love you, but you don't love me. Goodbye.